What's up, everybody? It's Fred here with Cutting Edge Window Tinting. Just bringing you a video that I think is going to help many of us. During hunting for tools and things like that, we're all always asking what's the best, what's this, what's that, what works better. And finally have it, the long-awaited Battle of the Squeegees. These are all the ones that I have, that I've tried. I'm going to be using the ones that I use more often as well. And to keep everything pretty simple and as fair as possible, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be basically switching all these blades from where, for example, this one, and then putting all these blades into these handles because these are the ones that I use the most. So I'm just going to switch everything out, put them in here. Then we're going to test them out against the glass. It's an older Chevy side window. It's got a little bit of curve to it, but either way, it's going to show how well it works, at least for me. You guys, obviously, everybody needs to try out everything and see what works for you. What works for me doesn't always work for you. So let's get started. So for testing purposes, what we're going to be using here is this older Chevy Silverado 1500 glass. It's got a little bit of curve to it, not too much of it, but it will do for the test, and also so you guys can see it on camera better, the squeegee action and stuff like that. We're going to be using some dyed water. It's just orange. Hopefully everybody can see it well. So we're going to go ahead and like I said, we're going to start we're going to go through every squeegee. We're going to take it out of the handle, use the same handle for all of them. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to go across the whole glass, and then we're going to push as well across the whole glass. And then the same thing, we're going to go from the bottom up, from the top down, each glass. And then again, we're going to push from the top up on each glass with every squeegee. So then that way you guys can see the performance. This glass is not super stable, which is actually going to work out, I think, great, because I'm not going to sit here and push harder or less. Just going to keep it even stroke with all of them, to be as fair as possible, and so you guys can check out the performance and judge for yourselves. All right. All right. So what we have first is this red squeegee. It's a Chinese squeegee. I probably bought it off Amazon or something like that. As you can see, it's pretty pliable. That's the edge on it right there. It's a beveled edge, also angled on the sides. So let's give this bad boy a go. So we're pulling. That's the pull. You guys can see it's actually doing an alright job. So now we go from the top down. Start putting this bad boy so you guys can see. So what we like to do a lot is sometimes we'll do a double pass. So this bad boy, I don't know if it starts to grab or not. This is basically just a show. Alright, so we got that. Gives you an idea of what that guy is capable of. Now we got this neon yellow also a Chinese one, which is actually a lot softer than that past red one. Same beveled edge, same corner cuts. Put it into the same handle. Pushing, pushing. So now as you can hear, that one starts to grab a little when it starts hitting the dry spots. Because I don't know if you guys do it, but I do. Like to dry off my squeegee at every pass. So just pushing, pushing, pushing. So I do feel it starts to grab a little bit. On that dry area. That was this yellow one. Here's this other random squeegee that I bought. You know, again, because I like to try everything. Obviously, way smaller, way thinner, way wider. So let's see how this guy works. So, again, you see the streaks, light streaks being left behind. And even then, where this has the most curb, not reaching that water. Do that pull. This is a much harder squeegee. Definitely tell that it's much harder. Obviously it covers more area as well, which I don't think gives it enough pressure on one particular point to be able to do a good job, because the way it sits, you still have some area left in here that doesn't make quite full contact, obviously, unless you push really hard. Again, this is just to show what kind of job it does on its own. You know, so there's that bad boy. Now we're getting to the fun ones, the ones everybody knows. Here's the Redline Extractor. Basically final pass type squeegee. You guys know it. That beveled edge. It's a pretty hard squeegee. Again, this is just to show you guys, just lightly, what type of work it does by itself. Again, yes, we can push on it a lot harder, but as we can see, naturally, it does not really conform that well to that curb. You can clearly see that it's left some water behind it. Let's try with the push. It does glide nicely across the glass. But as you can see, even then, when we have this curve down here more towards the bottom, it doesn't conform as well. As you can see, the streaks that were left behind already as well. So now we got the pull. Same thing. Down. You see that? Some water left behind. Which, again, it's not a problem, right? Because we can go back and, you know, go over it, because as a good tinter, that's what you do. You try to go over as best as possible. Same thing. But it seems to be leaving the same streak in the same area. Again, final squeegee, definitely, you know, I've used it. I'm going to say it's not my favorite, but I have used it. So now what we have here is this green, light green one, sandwich material looking one. It's got that light green in the middle and then the two greens on the side sandwiched together. This is a much harder squeegee compared to the last two. Also, it's a much thicker one. Take a look, we compare them. It's definitely a thicker squeegee. Fortunately, I had to put it in this other short stubby handle, which is also a no-name brand, to give this bad boy a try. So what I do notice, this is leaving some streaking behind, as you can see right here also, which obviously shows that the conformity is not as good as those other two. It is a harder squeegee, so it's not conforming as well, and even most of you guys know that these glasses don't have that much of a curve to them. So you can see there's some streaks, light streaks left behind with this one, which will require most likely to push a lot harder. Same thing, here we go again. You see on that downward pull, it's leaving some water behind. The reason I put those towels up there is to try to absorb as much as possible, right? So even then, here's a push down where you see some water being left behind. So this is more of a final squeegee type one, your last pass, where you're going to have to put some more muscle into it to be able to get more of that water out. Again, I'm not putting that much pressure on them, just to show you what kind of work they can do on their own without, I guess, quote unquote, forcing them to do what you want them to do. Next we have this orange crush. Cut down orange crush, as you can see, quite a bit. Same beveled edge. Used quite a lot. Let's take a look at what this bad boy does. Top, top, pull, 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 pull. Light water still left behind. Not as much as the previous one, but still a little bit of light water. So push. So on the push, this one definitely seems to do a little better on the push than it did on the pull. Again, pull, pull. Now there's a ton of variables, right? The angle that you hold it at, the angle that you pull it at. Again, this is not a video that's going to tell you guys which one is the best and which one isn't. It's just really to show you, give you an idea how they're performing in case you don't have one, or if you want to try one. From the pull down and the push. There you go. It's cut down orange crush. Everybody knows this guy. Pink Clean. Super soft. Used for cleaning. Conforms well. Give her a go. Bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Push. Cleaning squeegee. There you go. We got the clear crush here. Believe this is the next number, what is it? Softer number 2. That's what it says. Also, what at least I use for cleaning. Obviously very soft, very conformable to the glass. My opinion, pushes and pulls equally as well. Clear crush. Here we have orange crush, slightly cut down compared to the one that I personally use. As you can tell, this would focus, it's a lot shorter. The one that I use personally is a lot shorter. Otherwise, same exact blade. So since it is a little bit bigger, conforms a little nicer to the glass. And a little bit of extra material gives it the ability to conform a little bit nicer. On the push and on the pull, pretty much same performance both ways. Again, guys, keep in mind, I'm not doing this to say, go buy this, go buy that, this one's better, this one's not. At the end of the day, whatever works for you is what works for you. Whatever gets your job done to your specifications to your liking is what works. You know, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of an idea of how they perform, and maybe if you want to base, you know, your next purchase off something like this. There's the Orange Crush. What we have here is the Sledgehammer. Quite smaller, significantly smaller than all the rest of them. Same handle, thinner. This thing would focus. Bevel, same thing. Let's give this bad boy a try. So as it is a lot smaller, I find it has a lot more trouble conforming to these curves. I mean, you see it right there, and I'm keep on going over it, right? We put some muscle into it. Pretty sure we can get all of the moisture in there out. Same thing on our push. Down, 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 down. Does a little bit better on the down pull. Again, and this is something that I find, obviously, with a lot of the harder squeegees. They find it a little bit harder to conform to the glass. There's your Sledgehammer. And the never forgotten Blumex. The one a lot of us sometimes go back to. The one that everything gets compared to. Here it is. This is the OG. Pull across. Pull down. Pull down. And finally, push down. The OG Blumex. Beveled. I feel like this one's a lot thinner at the point than most of them. Obviously larger. It's a harder consistency to it. There you have it, guys. So in conclusion, here's our little test station. You know, at the end of the day, try what works for you guys. You know, I wasn't here to show you guys what's the best, you know, what sucks, do this, do that. Everybody has their own way of doing things. You know, my hat's off to the OG tinters who can tint a car with a hard card and a spray bottle and, you know, a razor blade. That's awesome. You know, we all have our ways and we all get the quality that we want in our own particular ways. I can tell you, out of these tools, probably 3 of them are the ones that I use the most because they work for me. You try what works for you. You know, this was just to give you an idea of the performance. You know, there's many variables. Different windows, rear windows, side windows, thick defroster lines, thin defroster lines, all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff matters, but you know what works best for you. Try them out. You know, figure out what works for you. If you like what I'm putting up as far as videos, you know, subscribe, share it. Maybe it was a good informative video. Maybe it wasn't. You know, I'm just here to try to, you know, throw my 2 cents in, and honestly, most of all, just try to help. So drop a comment if you want to see anything else, and you know, stay tinting. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Much love to everybody's family. Hope everybody is doing well, and